Welcome back to Escape to the Magic podcast. We are your hosts. I am Randy.
I'm Dak.
And I'm Ryan.
And this week, we're super excited to bring to you the 5 best things about Disneyland Paris. But before we do that, Ryan, you've got something to share.
Yes, we got a kind of a nice comment on one of our social media. So we post, usually with our episodes, we post something on Instagram with the episode topic, and we kind of promote it that way. A couple of weeks ago for our Thanksgiving Day, or our Thanksgiving week episode, I should say, it all started with the Mouse 138 commented, "It was a great episode." So we just appreciate those that are out there listening to us and finding us. And if you're on our social media, leave us a comment like that. We'll do our best to read it on the show. So it all started with the Mouse 138. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting.
It was a great episode.
It was a nice fun episode.
Yeah, it was. But thanks for that comment. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So Dak, this is like your time. Like you've experienced it. You have now been over what they call the pond.
Yes. You've been over the pond
and you have been to Paris, and you did the most important thing you could do when you go to Paris, and that is go to Disneyland.
Yeah, we ended up going over. We left the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and then ended up being in the parks Wednesday. So we did the red-eye flight overnight, got there in the afternoon or early morning, and then by the afternoon we were in Disneyland.
Was it a nonstop flight?
It was nonstop.
Nonstop.
We flew from Houston to Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 9 hours in the air.
Long time on an airplane.
Yes, it is.
So how long after you landed were you in the parks?
So it takes a while to get through customs and security and all that stuff once you landed coming in on an international flight. So it was really, and then by the time we got to our VRBO and dropped our luggage and all that, it was probably, we landed at 8. It was probably 2:00-ish by the time we got to the parks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Getting through customs was
Did you guys shower or anything before you went to the park?
No, we did not.
Wow.
Yeah, we did not. We were exhausted. Because you're not sleeping really great on an airplane, or at least I'm not.
Yeah.
And so we knew that if we got to the parks, the adrenaline would kick in, the excitement of being in a new Disney park would kick in, and so then we would be able to push through and make it through to the evening. So that's exactly what we did. And our VRBO was not ready until 3 or 4 o'clock anyways.
Okay.
So we just decided to make it happen.
And I want to step back for a second, because if I remember correctly, in preparation for this trip, you and the family decided to become Disneyland Paris annual pass holders.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did. So we ended up, we did the math. It was like for weekday passes, season passes, like $280 or so. And I think your day-to-day get into the park is around 80 or 90. So we figured, hey, if we get a season pass, we were only going to be there on weekdays. And we were at a VRBO that was literally one train stop down from the parks.
So I'm hearing you're telling me that you could be an annual pass holder for $280
at Disneyland Paris.
Just the weekdays, but
just
still
the weekdays. Yeah,
$280.
Yes.
So
once you get there, the pricing and everything,
sure,
with one exception, which we'll get into later. Once you get there, it's cheaper to go to Disneyland Paris than it is to go to Disney World.
Well, that's why I'm bringing this up.
Price.
That's why I'm bringing this
price
up because,
by price.
As a Disney Vacation Club member, I get an annual pass at a discount. I basically get the Florida resident annual pass as a Vacation Club member, but it's still $1,000.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, the Florida residency annual passes were a lot cheaper pre-pandemic.
Yes,
they were about $300 per person per year. So what you're talking about is old school Florida residency passes.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah, but not anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah, and even the DVC one wasn't that cheap.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was like $700.
Yeah, we had the weekday select pass back in the day when we had our Florida residency. So it was just weekdays.
Oh, but that's true. Ours was not limited to weekdays, right?
So,
ours was pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So,
and the Disneyland Magic Key is what they call it now. So the Disneyland Magic Key out of state weekday pass, I think, is around $650. I'd have to check my math.
At Disneyland
Anaheim. At Disneyland Anaheim.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Because we did that 2 years ago.
Okay.
And that was kind of the same scenario. We just did the math and we're like, well, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting a weekday pass, out-of-state weekday pass, which is a Magic Key. I can't remember the name of it, but
Okay, so you're on the train traveling to the parks.
So we're on the train traveling to the parks. We get to the parks, and
could you see the parks from the train?
No.
So it's not like
so you
the
get
monorail
off
at
the
Disney
subway.
World.
Yeah, no, it's not like that at all, like you would at Disney World or even Disneyland Anaheim. So you get off the train, you come up the stairs, and then as you come out of the train station, that's when you actually see. You come up out of the train station, and so that's when you see the Disneyland Paris marquee. There's security just like you would here in the States. And then as you walk through, the parks kind of diverge. One goes to what they call Walt Disney Studios, which is kind of like a backlot Hollywood Studios vibe. And then the other is the main Disneyland park. And you actually, and you can see this on the Imagineering story, you actually enter the parks underneath the Disneyland Paris Hotel, which is currently under refurbishment, but it was still just amazingly beautiful.
Did you go inside?
No.
Well, the whole thing was shut down.
The whole hotel is shut down right now for refurbishment. And so you couldn't go inside, but you just walk right underneath. And then I'm telling you, well, we can get into the top 5 things that we loved, our family loved about the parks. But so anyways, it's just gorgeous. Like, it's one of the most beautiful parks
That's what I've heard is it's probably of the Disney parks, it might be the prettiest.
Yes.
Like aesthetically.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, let's get into it. So top 5, you want me to go 5 to 1?
Yeah.
How
count
we rank
count
them?
it down. This is like the Late Show with David Letterman.
So number 5. So our number 5 was wait times.
Okay.
So we never waited more for any ride, even the most popular ones, more than about 25 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
So one ride was longer than that, even when we checked all day long. Now, granted, we're there the week of Thanksgiving, which is not a holiday week for
the French.
French, right? But I consistently the week or two beforehand checked as well.
And it stayed consistent.
And I even was on Disneyland Paris, Facebook groups and stuff like that. And what's interesting is they were all complaining about, the wait times are 30 minutes. And I'm like, holy cow, have you ever waited for Flight of Passage?
Jeez.
So anyways, we loved it. Not one wait time was longer than 25, 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
most were 5 to 10.
Man, that's
incredible
give for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so out there for that week, what would you compare that to, like on a crowd level, like a 4?
Oh no,
Less
I would
than
say
that?
it was probably a 2 or a 3.
That sounds like a 2 or 3, 25, 30 minute max.
So if we were to ever do it again, I would say that's a great week to go.
Okay.
Because you're not hitting, I think it's probably busier in the summer months from what it sounds like, which makes sense, and even less busy in the colder months.
Yeah.
December, January. But I will also say, as thin-blooded Houstonians,
yeah, I want to put a pin in that and talk about the weather too.
Yeah, we were right at the okay, any colder than this and it's not fun anymore.
So let's talk about that for a second then. Okay, so because I saw a lot of the pictures, it looked like it was always raining.
Yes, yeah,
and you guys had giant jackets on. So tell us more. Again, I recognize we are thin-blooded Houstonians. This is a tropical climate we live in, and we do it voluntarily.
Yeah. So I would say it was about 40 to 45 degrees each day.
That's freezing.
Yeah, you're hitting my threshold right there.
And then you're saying either a full-on rain or a constant drizzle. There was 1 or 2 days that we got lucky at the parks that actually did not rain. But every other day, it rained at least once or twice. It felt like being in Florida, but not at 90 degrees, at 40 degrees.
I don't mind a little rain. I think rain can create a nice little ambiance.
But
when
rain
you're
in the cold.
Parks. But rain in the cold is not fun.
That's not fun.
Yeah. So was the rain enough that it shut down any? Do they have any outdoor rides that were shut down? Or
most of their
rain?
rides are outdoor, and it did not shut any down.
Okay,
we never had a ride that.
So
was
this
shut
is
down
really a
either.
thing. Like they know this happens. They're used to it. And they built a park to that end, right? I mean, and you could say the same thing in Florida, right? There's only a couple of outdoor rides that run the risk of shutdown in the rain. There's just not very many. So,
which actually is a great segue to my number 4. You want to get into?
Let's go number 4 then.
So number 4 it's called the arcades. And in America, when you say arcade, especially if you grew up in the 80s, you are thinking of the place where you go and play video games.
Yeah.
But what this is it's actually on flanking each side of Main Street.
The big porticos for all of the shops and buildings.
That's right. So it's an indoor passageway, again, flanking the outside or the back side of each of the shops along Main Street.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So fully enclosed. Not just a big porch, but fully enclosed.
Fully enclosed. And you could still access the shops from a back door, basically, is what it was. But we loved it when there was like a parade going on or some like the fireworks going on. It allowed another escape route, if you will, that wasn't as crowded as being on Main Street, which our girls really appreciated. There was one time where we got caught. We watched the fireworks and like literally I'm grabbing my girls' hands, even my 17-year-olds, and like holding on because just generally culturally there. Personal space is not a thing.
There's no personal space.
Yeah. And so we love the arcades, and it was a little bit warmer in there, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still open to the outdoors, but it just created a little bit of a shelter for you as well.
So is Main Street similar to all the other Main Streets?
Very much so. So still the same vibe and style of the like early 1900s. All the windows still have all the names and everything like that. Just a little side note on Main Street is that it's a little bit wider than your Anaheim and Orlando versions, which again was really nice. Like just little touches that made the grounds of the parks really, really nice.
Did you happen to catch a glimpse of our time traveler friend?
Was he there? He looked French.
He did look French. He was dressed very French-like.
Oh my god!
That's got to be a whole other episode sometime. Everyone's like, "What are they talking? Time traveler?" Yeah, we'll have to do.
No, I did not see
the
the time traveler. He was in another dimension.
Man, I'll never forget that.
Never forget him.
Never forget the day we saw the time traveler at Disney World.
If you're out there listening, Mr. Time Traveler,
Disneyland.
It was Disneyland.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 for us was the thrill rides. So this would be right up y'all's alley. 3 big thrill rides they have there. Big Thunder Mountain was out of this world amazing.
Yeah.
By far the best.
I hear it's the best one.
Yeah, it's the best one.
What makes it so better than the others?
So it's a little bit longer. It's faster for sure.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the top 2 considerations.
So you start on one side of the park it's on an island.
It's on an island, right?
Yeah. And so you go underneath the water.
Oh, underneath.
And then you get going on it. But it's just faster.
Is the queue like part of the under the water? Or?
No. The queue is all on the
island,
on the Frontierland side. And then as you board the trains, you go out onto the island. And then as you're coming back, after the cave explosion,
so
you come back underneath.
So the loading is on the land side,
yes.
But then as the ride commences, it'll take you out to the island.
Right.
Okay, I follow now.
Yeah. And then the other 2 that were really awesome was Space Mountain.
I hear that's also the best one.
So Space Mountain is a catapult, but it catapults you upwards.
Launch coaster.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And when I say catapult, it is like full on. You have to keep your head back.
Rock and roller coaster.
Yes,
All
rock and roller coaster
All
style.
right.
Imagine rock and roller coaster going upwards.
Yeah.
Right. And right as soon as you go up, then you come down and go right immediately into a loop.
Okay.
And
Hold
so
up. An actual loop?
Yes.
On Space Mountain?
Yeah, on Space Mountain.
This sounds like, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like the Incredible Hulk at Universal Florida.
It
roar.
I've
That's
never.
what it says when you
he
launches. It's
whole-
like roar.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm
you
butchering
launch
it.
up
Yeah.
and then you immediately go into a loop, right?
Yeah, and so
that is intense.
It was intense, and our youngest did not appreciate that. We did not know that the loop was coming, and so kind of threw her for a loop.
What's the speed on that one, Ryan? Let's see if we can find out.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, actually. So Disneyland Paris Space Mountain launch 0 to 44 in 1.8 seconds.
Feels a lot faster than that.
But 1.8 and
That's
44,
legit.
that's
legit.
That's quick.
Yeah,
That's quick.
it's very intense. It's very intense.
I mean, and Space Mountain at Disney World what's the top speed?
At Disney World, it's like 35 miles an hour.
It's super slow.
Yeah, it's
comparatively
slow.
speaking.
It's all in the dark. It's Hyperspace Mountain.
Hyperspace Mountain.
So it's all the Star Wars stuff going on around you, as far as like Star Destroyers, TIE Fighters.
That's
X-Wings.
year round.
Year round.
Huh.
It stays that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Music, sound.
It's all Star Wars themed.
But like, is there music?
Oh yes,
like,
yes.
Because
Sorry,
in Orlando, right, the original Space Mountain, it's quiet.
No. There's
Except for the pinball part where
It's pretty good.
no,
pretty good.
that was
It's better than my Hulk.
That was
better than my Hulk sound.
That was better than I thought I could do, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take
That's
credit
awesome.
for that one.
So is it a single seater like at Disney World, or is it a
Oh my
double
gosh,
seater
now you're testing me. It's a two-seater.
like Disneyland?
Okay, so a
okay.
double like Disneyland. So more similar to Disneyland in terms of you've got theming, you've got sound, you've got a
Right.
two-seater, and it's better.
It's better. Yeah.
Better.
I would say that is also the best Space Mountain.
Well, that's what I've heard a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Is that it's the best.
It's
one.
smooth though. It's not the herky-jerky feel that you can sometimes get at the Disney World version.
Well, I mean, it wasn't also built in the 70s.
Yeah.
So-
That's true.
It's okay for other parts.
I do
to have
do
better
have
things.
literally have a Space Mountain 45th anniversary T-shirt
Yeah.
from 4 years ago. So that ride, it's feeling its age.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then the last one they have, it's called Flight Force, and it is basically, it used to be Rock and Roller Coaster over there, but they converted it to Marvel's themes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
And it's the theming is that you're going on a mission with Iron Man and Captain Marvel, and it is incredibly intense. So it's got it's only got one loop, but it has a couple of corkscrews. It also has all the visuals going on of you
Okay.
and Captain Marvel and Iron Man.
So it's in the dark.
You're fighting the Creel. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Kree?
The Kree.
Kree. I said Krill. Kree. You're fighting the Kree. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm getting a look from Randy
Oh,
like,
boy.
how dare you?
Yeah. I don't even know you.
It is in the dark as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But my middle one, Alyssa, she loved it. Like she
That's her
begged us to
favorite.
go back on single rider and do
Oh,
it
it's
over
got a
and
single
over
rider
again.
line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And-
well, that makes sense if it was originally the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah. And they have this Iron Man animatronic that is, I'll have to show you guys some videos afterwards. It's life sized. It's amazing.
Legit.
It is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And then you go outside and the restaurant that is right next to it has the Hulkbuster,
Okay.
a life-sized Hulkbuster.
Betty.
Yes, that's right. I can't believe you remember that. Yeah. So it was pretty awesome. That was
Yeah.
so the thrill rides for number 3.
Oh, no, not Betty. Veronica.
Veronica, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Betty was his girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Betty Ross.
Yeah.
What?
Liv
Betty
Tyler.
Ross. Yeah.
Betty Ross.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to
He's
go.
right.
You got to go back to Fox Hulk before Disney Hulk. Before Disney,
Oh,
yeah.
you're talking
but
the
that's
Edward-
the first one. That's the first one. The Ed,
No,
Norton,
you're right.
the
It's
Ed Norton Hulk. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Veronica because I kept on
And so
asking
Betty Ross is his girlfriend there, but the armor was Veronica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I saw the Edward Norton version.
Dude, it's an
It's good.
amazing movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
And in
check it out.
fact, it plays into the ridiculous She-Hulk TV series.
I didn't even
plays
give
right
that
into
a
it.
time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should watch it anyways.
Okay. I'll give the Ed Norton one a look see.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Highly
There it is.
recommend it.
Okay. All right.
All right, number two.
Number two. Wait. So the Rock and Roller Coaster version, is it basically the exact same as Rock and Roller Coaster from Disney World, or is it like a different version?
No, I think the track is a little different. There is a loop in it. There's a couple of corkscrews.
I'm wondering, is it as fast?
Okay, so
you said it was pretty intense.
I looked it up. We got 57 miles an hour, 3 inversions. Duration is 1 minute, 10 seconds. And it's about 3,200 feet. So
that sounds almost identical.
That sounds pretty much like...
Yeah, almost identical.
Yeah, maybe it is
but the configuration may be different in how they do it. So, okay. All right. Number two.
Number two is it. They call it Adventure Isle. So it would be Tom Sawyer's Island, but this one is called Adventure Isle. And so so it's all pirate themed. So it's their Disneyland Park Island. Right. And so imagine Tom Sawyer's Island, but it's all adventure piratey themed. And so, like, for example, I don't know if you saw this picture or not, but they have this massive skull rock. That is
from Peter Pan.
Part of it from Peter Pan.
Yeah.
They have the whole pirate ship out there. I don't know if it's the Jolly Roger or if it's not the Black Pearl. But anyways, have this big pirate ship out front. Not the Black Pearl.
That's not.
It's got to be the Jolly.
Well, the Jolly Roger is the flag, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Peter Pan's boat is called?
Peter Pan's boat. I don't remember.
Boy, we're getting nailed on Disney trivia, guys. Someone is screaming at the radio.
Well, I was just thinking of all the different Pirates of the Caribbean ships, right?
Yeah. No. I don't think it's Pirates.
Okay.
I think it's Pan.
Okay.
Anyways.
Jolly Roger sounds good enough.
You're right. The name of the Peter Pan ship was the Jolly Roger.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
What did I rank Peter Pan on my Disney World rankings?
We didn't rank it very high.
We did not even go on the Peter Pan ride.
What?
Yeah.
And you had those short wait times?
I know. It's weird, but we felt really pressed for time on a lot of days. Anyways, dude, this island, there's all kinds of caves and just...
Is there a fort?
There is not a fort, but there is a pirate.
Right. I just frowned at that.
Do you take a raft to get there?
You do not.
Well, okay.
You can walk right onto it. Listen,
move on. Just move on.
I'm telling you.
And this is number 2?
It was freaking awesome. I'm not giving it justice.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Okay.
Like just all different. And it also connects up with the Swiss Family Treehouse. It was just all one big
so they don't have a fort, but they do have a treehouse. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Disney World has a fort and a treehouse.
Well, and a raft to get
and
you
a
there.
raft. Yes.
It's true.
I'm telling you.
And on
it was
occasion,
my number 2.
a bear.
Yeah. Apparently a bear. That's right.
So here's what you need, Dak. You need to post some pictures to Instagram.
I will.
Just some post with the pictures of things that you're describing,
for sure,
so we can all look at them.
Yeah.
And then number 1 was just overall the castle, the theming of the parks.
Start with the castle. You know, so this is an important part of it, right? Because the reality is, in today's age, if you have visited the Florida parks first, when you go to California, you're going to be disappointed when you see Sleeping Beauty Castle. Like, you're going to be like, really? Like, is that a joke? Seriously.
Where's the rest of it?
Now, I remember growing up as a little kid going to Disneyland, and Sleeping Beauty Castle was amazing. And it's got some great features because you can go inside, you can do some stuff, right? You know, there's more to it than just the walkthrough, which is what it is at Disney World with Cinderella Castle. So I'm really interested to hear about this beautiful castle they've built out of like the side of a mountain or hill, basically, and the square trees. Tell me about the square trees too. I don't want to forget those.
All around the castle. So the outside, it's kind of the same theming now as the other two have become, which is that pink and bluish type of coloring. It very much mirrors Sleeping Beauty's castle in the actual show, right? In the cartoon version. And so, yeah, you're right. Half of it is covered by hillside, and then they have these trees. I mean, it literally looks like you're in the cartoon.
Okay.
The trees are all squared off. And so when you first come onto Main Street, it looks a little small. In fact, all of our girls commented like, oh, it's small. But as you work your way up towards it, you realize how big it actually is. If I'm not mistaken.
I feel the same way about Cinderella Castle too, honestly. From a distance, I look at him like, that's not that big. And then the closer you get, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's exactly how we felt on this one. And so when you get to the castle, you can basically go through it, like walk through the drawbridge, just like you can at Disney World. But then in addition to that, you can go downstairs, so underneath the castle. And underneath the castle, they have this gigantic animatronic dragon.
Oh, cool.
That like is breathing and roaring and is chained to the floor. And it is like moving and growling at you and all kinds of like, it is.
I hope you got some pictures and video of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My wife did, because I just wanted to like take it in. It was kind of like, I don't want to ruin this by looking at it through my phone camera. I want to just, but my wife was recording. So thankful to her for that. Usually I get on her about using her phone so much, but anyways.
Well, what you did, you followed one of our tips from a previous episode.
Yeah, get off your phone.
Putting your phone down and enjoying where you're at.
Yeah, so I did.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then as you go up through the walkthrough, then they have stairs up. And normally, at like Disney World and especially Disneyland version, it feels very tight.
Yeah.
This is not tight at all. It is very spacious. So you walk up a full-on staircase. Oh, let me back up. Sorry. On the sides of the first level, it looks like trees are growing up through the walls of the castle. And then the branches are what is part of the support structure.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, just visually is how it looks, is the best way that I can describe it. But then, so you go up the flight of stairs, which is a regular size flight of stairs, and up on level 2 of the castle is just beautiful stained glass work that is, it's hard to describe how gorgeous it is. Like, it's the story of Sleeping Beauty, obviously, but the level of detail, like everywhere you turn, you're like, oh, look at that. Oh, and like my girls were like pulling on my shirt. Oh, Dad, look at this, look at that. Just everywhere you turn, there was more little details in all of the castle. So I remember on what stuck out to me is I remembered on the Imagineering story when they're like, yeah, you can overspend on a park. I can see that now.
Yeah.
Like just the level of details that they went into to facilitate this castle was unbelievable.
Well, and again, if you referring back to the Imagineering story, they talked about how do you build a castle in the land of castles.
Right.
You have to go big. You have to go overboard, more ornate.
It's got to be
more
fantasy,
beautiful. It's
right?
got to be fantasy.
It can't just be the ordinary stuff and you saw some amazing castles in the countryside. Saw some of those pictures too, right?
So we went to Versailles, which is gorgeous, and a couple of other castles and so forth. But I'm just telling you guys, it was amazing. Then they had some tapestries in there as well that were out of this world beautiful.
Okay.
So when you say tapestries, I think of Indiana Jones' Last Crusade.
This is a castle, and we do have tapestries.
Did you get a little teary-eyed when you saw the castle for the first time?
We did, yeah. So like, so my 17-year-old, she is a girl after my own heart, and just even walking up and seeing the Disneyland Hotel, and then like walking underneath, it's so magical. It's hard to describe the feeling. Part of it is because you're in a new park and you've never experienced it before, but you just walk underneath the hotel, which is gorgeous. And then you walk into Main Street, and their Main Street has the garland that comes across. And then there's a little Mickey in the middle that's holding all the garland together. And you just walk underneath that towards the castle. The other thing they do is like, I want to say every 30 minutes or so, they make it snow on Main Street. So that's magical happening. And so, you're getting like all the feels, and you're getting teary eyed and all that stuff. And so It was amazing. And that's just the castle. Literally everywhere you turned, there was another layer of detail. All the queues in the ride queues were just themed to the max. The Pirates queue is unbelievably amazing. Some of the theming, like I mentioned over at Walt Disney Studios parks, some of the theming there was just incredible. It was just, it by far is the most beautiful park.
That's amazing. Well, I want to go. I've said for a long time I want to go. I look forward to going. You've painted a really good picture of the good part of it. I can only imagine that there's maybe a couple things you're just like, man, that wasn't so great, right? So without going too negative, like maybe what are some things that aren't so great about it?
So yeah, just a few things that I'd point out that was a little bit surprising to us. So this is going to sound very American, right? But
good, you are American.
Yeah.
And so am I and Ryan.
So as weird as this is, which Disney kind of, if you've gone to Disney World, Disneyland, the toilet paper there gets a bad rap, deservingly so. I think it's like less than one ply, if that's possible.
They've made it possible.
Yeah,
not sure how, but they've done it.
But so the toilet paper at Disneyland Paris is literally like napkins that you like pull out of a little dispenser.
That's a hard pass.
It was a little surprising. The other thing I would point out,
you could flush them though, right?
You could flush them.
Okay.
Yeah, you could flush them.
I mean, I'm as someone who oversees the fourth largest city's public works department in the United States, I can and knowing that the number of our wastewater blockages are related to rags and wipes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in my mind, I'm going through the scenarios. I'm like, well, this is an ancient place. And I imagine a lot of the plumbing actually is probably going through some of that same stuff. So I do wonder to what extent, like, it's a necessity just to ensure services are available. But that's something that in general, I think you have to prepare for going to Europe. Now, so let me ask this question. Maybe it's getting too much, right? But having lived in Europe for a few years myself, the popular thing, of course, is that there's a bidet available. So you're getting the half ply no bidet.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be pretty tough.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah.
All right, I think that's probably good enough on that topic.
Right. Enough of the potty talk.
We got to move on to keep this G rating here.
Okay. The other thing that was a little bit surprising to us was that as beautiful and detail-oriented as all of the decor was and the theming was in the parks, once you actually got on some of the rides, and I'm talking even the classic rides, so your Snow White ride, Pirates ride, it was a little ho-hum. All of us made the comment like, oh yeah, I like the Disneyland Anaheim version better.
So the attraction like the Disney itself.
World.
Yeah.
Other than the ones that I mentioned earlier that were the thrill rides and like the ones that really stuck out to us, it was just like we're like, okay.
So how much of that do you attribute? And I think back a little bit to Michael Eisner talking in the Imagineering story about the building of what was originally Euro Disney, right? And the mistakes that were made along the way, which was we just thought we could slap anything together and people would go for it. How much of it do you attribute some of those classic ones to we haven't had a chance to refresh this to be something useful?
Yeah, probably. The other thing that we noticed is that they all kind of put their own spin on it.
Okay.
So like, for example, Haunted Mansion there is not the Haunted Mansion. It's called Phantom Manor.
Yeah.
It was a little weird. Like, you go in, it's a different backstory, but part of the ride, you go through like your traditional Haunted Mansion start where you're seeing, there's a knight in armor there and some of that things. But by the end, you're actually going through this old town, Western town. That's your graveyard scene. It's not the graveyard scene that you have in your traditional Haunted Mansion. It was just, it felt a little off. Like, and again, maybe that's because we're coming from the perspective of
we know what a Western town looks like.
No, just
I wonder, do you think there might be a little bit to that where we're introducing a Western concept into the old world a little bit, and maybe there wasn't the need?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm just
guessing.
Yeah, like I don't think there was the need. I think they could have stuck with the regular. And again, I don't know if they were trying to like say, hey, well, let's just do something different. Now's our opportunity.
Yeah.
If you want to get real technical, I don't know when all of these changes took place, but this is like your level 2, I call them, or your second generation Imagineers.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, hey, we want to put our own twist on some of these classics.
Yeah.
And anyways, so we just thought some of the rides were a little ho-hum.
Yeah.
The classics.
Okay.
That carry over from park to park to park.
Okay.
The other thing that was really shocking was their version of Lightning Lane over there is called Premier Access. It is $90
wait.
per person per day.
All right. I'm out.
So obviously we didn't get it because, like I said earlier, the
$90 per person?
Per person per day.
Well, it sounds like you didn't even need it.
And we didn't need it.
I would say, but for what?
Yeah, I can only imagine you using that if you're like, hey, I'm going to Paris. I have one free day.
Did you see anybody using it?
Never.
Because no one's dumb enough to pay $90
I guess
for that.
Well, when you see wait times of 15 to 20 minutes, why would you pay for that?
I mean, I'm not in favor of
in the
it.
summer it gets a little bit busier.
I don't know, but I that's kind of the Universal Studios model, right? Is when you buy their Express Pass, you're effectively buying another ticket for the day. But I can understand why someone would be willing to do that, because when I've been at Universal on the busiest of days, it's busy. The entire difference.
Yeah.
I would literally, and I will buy 2 tickets in order to be able to do more stuff compared to what's going on here. But in this case, $90, that's just shocking to me.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
And that was consistent every day. There was no flexible day.
No, it's a hard fixed number.
Okay, because it changes at Disney World based on the day, right?
Yeah. So that was shocking. The other thing that was a little shocking to us, Disneyland Park is your regular sized, Disney, what you would expect Disneyland Magic Kingdom to be. So it filled all that. But the park next door, called Walt Disney Studios, like when we say, oh, that's a half-day park, I would say this is not even a half-day park.
Wow.
Imagine, if you will, in your mind's eye, literally like 2 streets of Hollywood Studios. So Sunset Boulevard and what's the other one that goes down to the Tower of Terror? That's really it. You had 2 sides of the park, 2 streets of the park, and that is it.
What's there to do there?
Well, ironically, some of the best rides are over there. So Ratatouille is over there. They have this one that's a spinning coaster ride that's very similar to probably Guardians, called Crush, and it's based off of, Crush the Turtle. That our girls love that. I'm not a spinning guy, so I didn't go on it. That Flight Force Iron Man ride was over there. Web Slingers is over there. So ride to size ratio.
So that's where their Marvel stuff is at. Yeah. Because that was a recent sort of revamp expansion in Paris, was to bring Marvel into the park.
And we noticed that in 2024 and 2025, they're bringing in, we saw all the cranes and everything. They're bringing in Frozen Land, and they're bringing in Galaxy's Edge.
Is that coming really to Disneyland Studios?
To the Walt Disney Studios.
Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, they have to have it. Like, I can't imagine them not doing more there.
Wow. Okay.
So that was it. And then the biggest surprise, honestly, guys, was the food. The food was just not great.
Is that because your expectations were so high because it is France?
Yeah, maybe because, anywhere else we were in Paris, which we spent probably a good full week outside of the parks in Paris, the food was out of this world.
Yeah.
But in the parks, it was very much to be desired. Like for example, I'll just give you just a quick example. Their ice cream bars that they, distribute are literally the Magnum ice cream bars that you buy at, grocery store or whatever. But they're charging $6 and $7 for them. It was just.
So I guess I want to compare this to Magic Kingdom, because we've had lots of discussions about this. Magic Kingdom food selection and the food itself, not great, right?
Yeah.
So where do you put it if you were to rank it?
Right there.
Right there, about the same, on par or worse?
On par, maybe a little smidge below that.
Okay.
Because at least at Magic Kingdom, I can go to the confectionery and get some like fun snacks. I would say Magic Kingdom is good in the snack department.
Yeah.
Maybe not so good in the quick service and table service.
Yeah.
But even like some of the snacks, we were not, crazy about.
Yeah.
There was just not a lot of great options. Like I think I saw one or two stands with a Mickey ice cream bar, which where I rank Mickey ice cream bars.
Yeah.
Any churros?
Any churros? No churros.
Yeah.
No.
See, and I do try. A lot of our snack preferences is not going to fit in a European.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What about the Mickey pretzel?
I did not see.
That's another one. I would be surprised to see that.
Their bakery was actually good, which again, that fits right into the French culture, right? But overall, their food options. In fact, a lot of the times we ended up going to more like they had a Five Guys there. That was one of our best meals. We thought there.
Yikes.
Now, to be fair, they do have a couple of higher end restaurants. Like there was one restaurant we wanted to check out, but we just couldn't justify the cost based on our experience with the food so far. It's called Waltz, and it's right on Main Street. You go in, there's like 3 or 4 different rooms that are all designed and themed after different stages of Walt's life.
Okay.
And the food is based around some of his favorite meals. But the cost was $45 to $50 a plate. And so we were a little gun shy on wow, do we want to? There's 5 of us in our family.
We're rolling the dice here.
Do we want to go spend $300 on maybe some food that is not awesome?
Yeah.
Just for an ambient setting.
Yeah.
So we passed on it. Anyways.
Well, it sounds like an amazing trip.
It was amazing.
You are a annual pass holder, so when are you going back?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think if you can handle the flight and the change in time and all of that puts a toll on your body, once you get there, it's pretty awesome. But I can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth, but we might be okay with a one and done. Yeah. If you gave me the option of Disneyland or Disney World or Disney Paris.
This is a perfect example because I have a magical scenario for us.
Okay.
So you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's your magical scenario, right? I'm going to give you 3 options. In each of these options, you have unlimited access, okay? So we're not worried about the price or anything like that, okay? We're just going to talk about the experience. So you can get 4 days at Disneyland Paris Resort, okay? But you're going to have the weather you experienced, but you're going to have the wait times and smaller crowds that you also experienced. So that's option 1. Option 2 is you can get 2 days at Disneyland in Anaheim, okay? And you're going to get your typical Southern California weather, but you're going to have unpredictable crowds because you're going to have that great weather to go with it. Your third option is you can have 5 days at Disney World in Orlando, but you're going to get unpredictable weather and you're going to get unpredictable crowds.
So quick question, just for clarification, Disney World, what time of year am I there?
You're going to get unpredictable weather.
I'm going to assume summertime.
I'm not going to assume summertime. I'm going to assume fall or spring. That's what I'm going to assume.
But I'll just tell you, I've been in fall and spring, and had 100-degree days.
It's unpredictable.
100% you have.
100-degree days,
but
and
if you're
90%
going in
humidity. So you have to take that's the whole package here. You're going to get unpredictable weather. And in fact, one of those trips I was at, it was 93 one day with like 80% humidity, not a cloud in the sky. And the very next day, it got down to 40 degrees and it was raining.
Yeah,
I'm not joking, right? So
yeah,
that's the trip you're going to get.
Well, I'll tell you right now, you give me, I'm taking 5 days at Disney World. That's what I'm taking. I think from what Dak has described, I think it sounds nice. I don't know if I could do 4 days. To me, what Dak is describing is if I'm going over there for a trip to Europe, I'm going to do some World War II sightseeing, go to London, England, look at the countryside, go out to Cornwall, see where they shot Poldark. That's
that was a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I would add in a trip to Disneyland Paris as part of that trip. I probably would not go over there as a standalone event.
Well, I didn't say it was a standalone event.
But you know what I'm saying.
These are your options.
Yeah. Disneyland, Anaheim, 2 days. That's actually pretty enticing too. If you get because you're gonna get pretty much great weather. But I think I'd rather take the 5 days.
Yeah.
Give me 5 days.
So I think you're right, Ryan. I that's how I would wrap up all of my Disneyland Paris discussion is that if you are taking a European trip and you're going to end up in France in some way, shape, or form, hacking on a day or 2 or even 3 days for Disneyland Paris is probably the way to go. To design a trip to Europe around Disneyland Paris, just my experience would be you're going to be disappointed. I would say make your Paris plans, all the things that go along with that, and then add on an extra day or 2 if you can, if your schedule allows it to go to Disney. To go back to your magical scenario, Randy, I'm a Disneyland Anaheim guy. I love Southern California. I love the weather. I love everything about it. And so I would not bat an eye. I would take Disneyland Anaheim and my 2 days.
Hold up. You wouldn't bat an eye. You would take 2 days
over 5 days.
Over 5 days?
I would, guys. I just
well, we knew you were weird. So. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna go with Disney World and like Ryan, it's that 5 day appeal. Personally, my thing is, and this is why I did 2 days in Anaheim, I don't think 2 days is enough.
It's not.
Okay? It's not enough. And particularly if you have even moderate crowds, it's not enough. You're not going to be able to do everything and really enjoy it. And so to me, that's the thing. 5 days, what 5 days allows me to do in Florida is it allows me to, if I wanted to, dedicate an entire day to a park, visit all 4, and then I still have another day to go and maybe clean up and do the other stuff. Yep. So that's my thought. The weather in Southern California, definitely the best. People. I was born there. They're nice people.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you guys are saying. I just have been, I'm a convert. I'm a convert to Disneyland Anaheim. I just love it. I love, I think it is just the weather is so appealing to me. I've just had so many instances in Florida where, like you said, it's brutally hot some days or rainy and miserable other days.
You just have to power through it.
You do. You have to power through it. And that's not a knock. That's like the Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Like by saying that I like Jordan better doesn't necessarily mean that I hate Kobe, right? Like, I love Disney World.
Yeah.
for me, if it came right.
So you're saying LeBron is Disneyland Paris?
He's Disneyland.
He's Disneyland Paris.
Oh my gosh, we're getting off the rails. All right,
maybe Hong Kong.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So listen, you know what's cool? I'll tell you this. We recently had a trip, and part of our trip, and enjoying everything, particularly at this time of year, stopped in the Christmas shop, right? And I stop in the Christmas shop all year long, but the most memorable. What's the most memorable thing about the Christmas shop? What is it?
The smells.
It's the smells, right? I mean, you can smell it from the street and I'm close to the Christmas shop. So, you know what I did right when I got home? I got on magiccandlecompany.com and I put in an order for the Christmas shop candle from Magic Candle Company so I could bring the scent home. Perfect time to do that this time of year.
Absolutely.
And for those of you that are listening, you could do the same sort of thing. And even better, super good news here. If you use our promo code ESCAPE, you'll get 15% off.
Great deal. Great discount. Great company.
Hey guys, I'm sorry to do this, but I got to interject real quick. I totally forgot. I got you guys an early Christmas present.
What?
From Disneyland Paris. I'm so sorry that I'm doing this right now because we're at the end of the show. But this will be our wrap out exit music, right? So
yeah.
Here you go. I'm getting into my Disneyland Paris bag.
What you got there? What?
Oh, yes.
So I'm handing the guys
yes.
each a tin.
Oh, yes.
It's a chocolate tin from Disneyland Paris.
Oh.
Assortimento bonbons de chocolat.
So merry early Christmas, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I specifically found these tins because they say Disneyland Paris on them. I didn't want to just get you regular old chocolates.
That is so
Man, this is
cool.
awesome.
I can't vouch for the taste or anything like that, but
This will be gone tonight when I get home. I guarantee that we will plow through
we got
this.
dark chocolate with caramel. We got white chocolate with nuts. And
this is
have
amazing.
milk chocolate with nuts. So this sounds good. And there's Mickey heads on there. And
There
so
you go.
can't go wrong.
yeah.
And the tin is actually really charming.
It
Yeah.
is.
I
it's-
thought you
it's
guys
really
might
good.
be able
we
to
have a
use the tin
huge,
again.
huge collection of
Yeah.
Disney Christmas stuff. And this is going to
Yeah, this is a
right in. So
collectible
thank
for sure.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Well,
guys.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. It was awesome to have you join us this week. As a reminder, we're here every week on Wednesdays. So be sure to like, subscribe, refer, share, drop a review.
Yeah, and follow us on all of our social media accounts. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the regulars. So give us a like and a follow there too. And great episode this week, guys. Good to be back.
See you next week.
Bye.